the running to get the nomination. Remember, Bob Woodward wrote a bunch of books ago.
Yeah.
Dick Cheney was the likely Republican nominee, and everyone thought that's comical. Well, his daughter brought it up a couple of weeks ago, and then he did not rule it out of the question last night, and part two, of course, with Sean Hannity is tonight.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Now, somebody who might run for president next presidential election cycle is former Governor Sarah Palin. She has been busy out there on the bus while she's driving around selling books, and apparently she put together an op-ed that is in this morning's Washington Post. And her #1 topic of this particular op-ed piece is what's going on, just started 2 days ago over in Copenhagen, and the Save the World Summit that essentially has started over there. The backdrop to it are all these hacked emails that call into question all of the science. Here's just a snippet of what she says. Without trustworthy science and with so much at stake, Americans should be wary about what comes out of this politicized conference. The president should boycott Copenhagen. Oh, excellent. Will he?
Could the president be reached for comment? No.
He's not. He's going because it's going to be convenient because he's going to go over to the Nobel Peace Prize.
He is in a little bit of difficulty because he's going to have to try and manage what he says against all of this evidence that's now coming out, that some of those emails, that they were suppressing some of the other evidence to disprove some of their claims about climate change. Interestingly enough, in Sarah Palin's editorial, she also, I don't remember this argument, it's an important one. Being from Alaska, she talks a lot about her stance on the polar bears and whether or not they were actually going into extinction, and she sued the federal government in the opposite direction over its decision to list the polar bear as an endangered species because she says they had actually doubled in population. See, these are the types of things that maybe you're not hearing from the mainstream media, and one of the things about whether or not climate change and everything that's going on with ClimateGate will actually get out to the general public, we don't know, because will the mainstream media actually pick up on these other stories?
Right, and China and India are going to show up with proposals on how they're going to increase emissions while still being aware that greenhouse gases could be dangerous. They're not going to cut, but is the president going to walk over with a major proposal talking about circumventing Congress, saying, look, I'm going to do all this. America's leading once again when it comes to climate change. And are they going to do it because of what the EPA has leaked out? That they might essentially declare it a state of emergency because of the increased emissions might make it a public danger to continue on our current path. Therefore, the Congress would be dealt out.
Well, Congress was dealt in yesterday because a couple of congressmen were talking about this particular information. The GOP had a press conference yesterday about a bombshell internal EPA report that showed that the White House was interfering with the EPA's investigators who were looking into the effects of carbon dioxide. You're going to hear from Joe Barton of Texas. He's a Republican, and Ed Markey, a Democrat from Massachusetts. Listen.
They were told point blank, the decision's already been made at the White House. We're going to move forward with this. Your report's not helpful. In fact, it's harmful. Stop working on it. Now, I have a copy of that report. I'm sure Mr. Sensenbrenner and Mr. Issa, we can provide it to anybody in this room. And it clearly, just a casual review of this report, shows that they had made a predetermined decision to issue the endangerment finding. To heck with what the facts are.
No, absolutely not. The science is conclusive. There's been a 6-degree warming in Alaska in the winter over the last 50 years. We've lost 3 Texas-sized pieces of ice off of the Arctic in the last 30 years.
Okay, so, given the background of you don't know what to believe with the scientific evidence because it does sound, you look at these hacked emails, you don't know who was doctoring the evidence. As they sail into Copenhagen, you've got to wonder, is what they're saying accurate?
And they went on to say that Joe Barton, as well as Joe Barton, as well as Sensenbrenner, says, look, they're going to sue. The EPA is going to get sued in court. It's not going to hold up.
Right.
So the whole thing's going to be reversed anyway. And he warned against Barack Obama showing up as President of the United States like the Vice President Gore did in Kyoto and promising all these things, and then it's not going to be able to deliver here at home, making us lose credibility.
I think the most important thing for our viewers to understand, too, is how does this affect cap and trade, because that is what is here at home. Remember, that passed in the dead of the night, on the night that Michael Jackson died, and so it really got very little press. But what will happen now? Is cap and trade dead here in the U.S.? A lot of people would say yes, because of ClimateGate.
All right, real quickly.